subtle, thing, like by other ways?
So I think initially it was, hey Ash, go and manage these people and lead this testing effort, literally being shoved. And at first I floundered, I struggled to find ways to do so until I kind of had that moment where it was like, right, I can't really carry on like this. So I found two podcasts, one called Manager Tools and one called Career Tools, which really, it was a strange. They were quite a strange sort of blend, because there was two people on this podcast and they were very corporate America, but they talked about the basics of management and the basics of career. So a lot of the stuff they talked about was very transferable. And I learned a lot about how to manage and lead from that as well, and literally picking up things like, how do you do an effective one-to-one? Which sounds, I guess to a lot of people, it sounds like the most simple thing in the world. But it's not. It takes preparation, and you need to have not a strict structure for it, but certainly a set of topics and a set amount of focus that you want on, whether it be feedback to the direct report, and then feedback to yourself, and then talk about the future as well. And make sure you have time for all those things in a one-to-one, rather than it just being a talking shop for 2 hours, because that doesn't really get anybody anywhere. So I learned a lot from that as well. And then after that, I sort of mixed up the formal training. So I took there's a training course in the UK called the Train the Trainer course.
Train the Trainer, okay.
So, because I gave some training and it was really terrible. So I thought, I need to learn how to do this better. And again, it's like that process of admitting to the self, even though you're in a position of authority, that you need to learn how to do this. And that will be much better for the people that you are training or who report to you. And the other one was, I went to do a coaching mentoring course as well. So literally to learn the difference between the two, and all the different scenarios and how to manage your coaching and mentoring relationships. So not to let them slip into therapy, because that's not your job, and I'm not a counsellor, I should not be doing things like that, because that's quite dangerous. But knowing when those tipping points are between coaching and mentoring and coaching and therapy, and being able to recognise those situations and be mindful of where you are on that continuum. And it was really useful because it talked about some fairly formal coaching methods, which I haven't used to that extent since, but the training actually went through step by step of building a rapport with a coachee, having a contract with them about what you're going to talk about and when you're going to meet, and what your boundaries are between the two of you, and then having sessions every now and then with notes afterwards, and check-ins after every 3 sessions or so to say, well, does this relationship still work? So it made that journey very explicit. I think now I'm probably a bit more relaxed with those things, but because I know that it has all those aspects within my coaching style now.
Nice.
So a bit of theory to back up. So I guess the one that immediately sprang to mind was, it was a particularly difficult employee who was like compromising certain projects and was being disruptive to like the whole business really. So I had to take that person through like a process, if you like, which was immensely difficult for me. I felt extremely stressed throughout the whole process, which was an interesting learning journey too.
Nice.
It turned out okay. It turned out we reached a place where we were able to work on the things that person needed to work on, and they had a future with the company, and it worked out. It worked out really well. But again, it was a big learning journey for me as a leader as well, because essentially, as a leader, I think sometimes, and I certainly found this trap, it's like you want to be liked, You want everybody to like you as a leader. And I think that's one of the things about leadership and management, and however you split that, is that it's really nice to be liked, but sometimes you need to make a call about something that you know is going to cause you a lot of pain in the future, and a lot of things that you're going to need to sort out. But it has to be done sometimes. And that was my moment where it was like, I know this needs to be done, and I know it's going to be hard, so I'm going to do it. And then I know that I'm going to have moments afterwards where I regret doing it, because I could have just muddled along and had a quieter life a little bit. But I think certain situations do then kind of explode, and then you're stuck with it, and then people are asking you, well, why didn't you deal with this? So I think that was one of my moments.